Donald Trump has signed an executive order giving drug makers 30 days to lower the prices of their medicines to align with what other countries pay. My colleague Ekta Batra spoke to Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, the chairperson of the Biocon Group, and began by asking her about her views on this wide-reaching order. Listen in.
The discussion on reference pricing started in President Trump's first term. And he did introduce reference pricing at that time, but it was never carried through. And I think it's been very obvious that one of the ways of reducing healthcare costs through drug prices is through this price reduction. I think President Trump clearly called out the huge price differential between developed markets, especially Europe, and the US. And he asked why companies are adopting a dual price strategy when it comes to the US, where US is almost paying in some cases 50 or 80% higher than European countries. So I think that's his first target, where he wants to basically reduce this big disparity that he sees. And the second one that he called out is the middleman, which obviously refers to PBMs and wholesalers, who also, he believes, keeps drug pricing high for patients. So I think the approach that they're taking is not about tariffs, but about drug pricing. That's the way I look at it. As far as generics are concerned, as far as biosimilars are concerned, they are clearly being called out under the Affordable Care Act, and I don't think that's the target.
Okay, so you think that the steps under the executive order were basically limited to big pharma, innovative companies, and not really anything to do with the generic biosimilars as well as the generic drug space?
Absolutely. It was very clear from how he articulated his position on pharmaceuticals and drug pricing and bringing down the cost of drugs. It was clearly aimed at big pharma. In fact, RFK clearly said that although the pharma industry did sort of support his election campaign, our president cannot be bought. And he basically referred to the fact that they will do what's best for the American patients. So this is the way they are going about it.
Companies which have branded or specialty drugs in their portfolio in the US be impacted by this?
So it's largely, as you said, it is really the big pharma products, because if you know how the market is split, 80% of prescription drugs by volume only account for 20% of the value. And it's 20% of prescription drugs by volume account for 80% of value. And that's the 80% he wants to shrink.
For India, the kind of the drugs, the patented drugs that we do import or in license from branded pharma, are they going to get more expensive?
No, according to him, he believes that the drug companies price it at a lower price in the developing world, but he said he's not going to bother about the developing world prices because he said they need lower prices. But he said Europe doesn't need lower prices, is what his comments were.
Okay, so it's probably just going to be limited to Europe and Canada. That's where...
Yeah, the reference pricing is going to be limited to those countries.
All right. What might the impact be on CDMOs if big pharma companies look to actually reduce their cost of manufacturing? Do you think that they're probably going to get more business?
I think they will benefit because there are two sides to this. One is they want localization of manufacturing. On the other hand, drug companies will look at cost reduction to make up for the kind of dent that drug pricing in the US is going to make to their business. I think Roche already made a comment saying that they will have to rethink their investment in US manufacturing if this policy is carried through, because it would certainly impact their profitability and their ability to support investments in manufacturing. So I think there are already going to be some concerns that big pharma will express in this policy. So a lot remains to be seen. But personally, I believe that big pharma will have to look at ways of cost reduction, cost containment, and I think CDMOs, CRDMOs will benefit in India.
Okay. What will happen to R&D according to you if in case there is a change in terms of the structure and the pricing? Most of R&D is fueled by these high-priced innovative drugs. Is there going to be any kind of impact on R&D?
No, I think we actually provide a good, affordable cost option for R&D to be done in these parts of the world. I think that will benefit. I think they will actually invest more in contract research. And I think the drug manufacturing will go up to a phase 3 clinical trial, because I think they would largely like to then bring back large-scale manufacturing to the US, is the way I see it.
Okay.
And that's why I think Syngene also recently acquired a large biologics facility in Baltimore, because we see that they'll be quite happy, sourcing clinical supplies from outside the US. But, if the make in US strategy for novel products is going to be an important aspect, then I think you do need to manufacture the final product in the US.
Okay. On the other hand, we also have US and China, which are renegotiating their trade deal. Do you think that could be a spanner in the works for India's plan to become a +1 when it comes to CDMO and CRO manufacturing?
No, I think there will always be a balanced de-risking approach by all pharma, because, you can't depend on one geographic, area to do everything for you. So I think the +1 is always going to be a strategy followed by big pharma or anyone.
Okay. The US is going to, announce import tariffs on pharma in the next couple of weeks. What's your expectation, Ms. Shaw?
Again, I'm not so sure it will impact us. As you've seen, the US UK trade deal actually saw a soft landing for pharma. I'm hoping that it does the same for India. So we have to wait and see, but I don't expect it to be a major impact.
Are you looking at any kind of onshoring manufacturing in the US?
We've already invested in creating a manufacturing footprint in the US. We have a solid dosage plant in New Jersey. We have as I said, we just acquired a biologics facility in Baltimore. And we've just announced a very big insulin manufacturing partnership with Civica. So I think all these have been done with the aim of being closer to the market, closer to the patients. And of course, it also serves certain, regulatory aspects of supplying to certain US market segments.
Okay, on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Up next, we'll discuss the market fundamentals with Madan Gopal Ramu from Sundaram Alternate Assets. So don't go anywhere.